Here's a tiny tutorial of a waterfall and a rock. So first I'm going to grab some water on my brush, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of water coming down like this. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but water on my brush just to make kind of the shape of my waterfall here. And I'm going to get some blue, mix it with some green over here, and drop that on in right about here, and just let it spread. And maybe a little bit more green, blue. Again, gonna let it spread in the water. And one more time, right there on that edge. So there's kind of the shape of my waterfall. Dry off my brush a little, and I'm going to bring a little of that out by creating a brush vacuum and pulling it down. And I'm going to create some, like, not bubbles, but like mist down here, kind of a cloud feeling. So it's just a couple of kind of dome shapes. And I'll get my blue, a little tiny bit of green, and let that flow into there. And I'll leave some that are in white in the front, just to show that that's misty. I'll get that blue-green color again, come back over here, and this is to add it to the back behind the white mist. I don't want to get too much water on there because then it'll be hard to dry. I'm going to soften up the edges here a little bit with a tiny bit of water. Maybe add a little bit more of that blue-green in here. And I'll start working on the rock over here. I'm going to get a little bit of blue. This blue makes great shadows. And I'll take that blue, and this is going to be the shadows of the rock. So I'm just building it up here. And I've already got some brown here that I like. I think I may add a little red to it. Looks a little bit purpley. Maybe a little bit more brown. A little orange. A little yellow. There, kind of like that color. And I'm going to go ahead and add in those rocks. I'm not going to paint it all at once because I want to let my brush get a little bit textured, maybe by dragging it around over here. And then I can add a little more texture in there. Maybe get some yellow. Try mixing that in. to show the sun on the top of the rocks. And I can get some more of that blue to work in more shadows. Just let them kind of bleed into the rocks. And down here I'm going to make a little bit of water. So I'm going to grab some of my water blues and greens over here. And I'll just make some really thin lines back and forth over here. Make sure you leave white where the water is reflecting, because that just helps make it look more like water. And I'll get my brush wet and soften up the edge of the water over here. And I could even add in maybe a little pine tree over here in the corner. Why not? And get my brush wet and make it blend, kind of float along over there. That's one way to paint a tiny little waterfall.